Hi everybody, I'm talking today about communication privacy management theory, and essentially the main idea of this privacy theory is whenever you are the original owner of private information and you choose to disclose this to others, you're creating co-owners of this information, and you are potentially risking the shrinkage of your privacy because the possibility of you telling one, they tell another, and eventually it just shrinks to nothing. And the main factors of this are privacy ownership, which deals with our privacy boundaries and what we determine to be kept as private versus public information, and how thick, so deep, heavy, dark secrets versus thin boundaries, which are very lighthearted, and if people know, they know. If they looked on your Instagram, they probably figure it out. So stuff like that. And the second factor is the privacy control, which is basically the reasoning behind why you decide to create co-owners and the reasonings behind that. And the third is privacy turbulence. So the privacy turbulence is whenever your management of the information does not go as planned, and there are problems that arise, and you have to usually renegotiate the privacy rules about your information later on with that co-owner. And some key theorists and influences of this theory are the author Sandra Petronio, and she created this and kind of in a way piggybacked off of influences from Altman and Taylor's social penetration theory, which their theory talks about how the self-disclosure can create a more developed, close relationship with other people. And she decided to object to that a little bit and kind of suggest that disclosing information could potentially risk that close relationship because of the privacy being violated and told to other people. And the theoretical orientation of the theory, the one I'm going to be talking about, is privacy turbulence. So privacy turbulence is basically when shit hits the fan, and an example I have is whenever I was helping a friend move. It was us three girls and the three guys outside. The three girls were unpacking inside while they did the outside, and all three of us girls are all friends, and all of our husbands or boyfriends, fiancés, they work together. And one has a 1-year-old already, and the other is newly married. So the newly married one believed that she was pregnant because she missed a period, and she was asking the woman with the 1-year-old some signs to look out for, and did her symptoms match up with hers. So she decided to tell us because she was going to take a test, and she told us not to say anything to our guys before she took the test and even knew. So she established those privacy rules, and to how I thought I followed them, but I did not, unfortunately, I guess. And I mentioned after a few days, she told us girls that she was not pregnant, false alarm, and things were all good. So I assumed I could tell Colton now. So I told Colton, and I guess he went to work the next day and teased the husband about, oh, dodged a bullet there. And he was upset because he said he didn't even know about that, and the wife was not going to tell him about the false alarm. So he was upset that he had to learn that from someone else and not his wife. So the privacy rules had to be renegotiated afterwards, and I felt very bad. But that was a misunderstanding on the privacy rules that were established in the first place, and so they had to be renegotiated afterwards, after the turbulence occurred by me. And the critiques that I had for you guys were, the first one was most people tell the information or disclose the information without negotiating privacy rules. whatsoever, or not going into greater detail like I would have liked. And they just assume that the rules are universally known. Their rules are somehow communicated to you in an unspoken manner, which is not very successful. So the second one I had was forcing the original owners to renegotiate after the turbulence has occurred. To me, what's done is done. If the boundary was deep, dark, you've done what I told you not to do. It's kind of done, over with. If it's something huge, and it seems counterproductive to me to have to renegotiate it when the damage is done. And that's what I think. And the third is that somehow, in some specific cases, that the turbulence could potentially cause the original owners of the private information and the co-owner who created the turbulence to somehow form a closer bond. For instance, if a child who's being abused confides in the babysitter and tells them do not tell, the privacy rules are very strict, and she breaks those rules and tells someone, it is out of love for that child that she's doing that, and in the long run of things, that child could greatly appreciate that babysitter in a new way and create a more developed bond in that way. So in very rare cases would it hinder, in most cases it could hinder a relationship, but in some rare cases it could actually potentially help and develop it in a more positive way. And that is my summary of communication privacy management theory, and I am done with all of my ideas, and I hope you guys enjoyed this talk. Thank you.